What's up, guys? My name is Josh, and today marks the new day of a new series which I've started, in which I hope to get all the Star Wars YouTubers to come on and do an interview and answer some questions. And the first guest I have today is Mr. Star Wars Theory. How's it going, man?
Hey everyone, how you doing? Thanks, Josh, for having me.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, first of all, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Clearly, you're doing really well. So to have someone of your kind of standard coming on is obviously really appreciated. So we're going to ask you some questions today. I've got 11 questions down. How you answer them is entirely up to you. You can talk for 5 minutes. I don't care. You know, I've got enough time. So, all right. So, First question I want to ask to you is, what's your Star Wars experience? Because Star Wars fans, they have, you know, everyone's different, I guess. Some people start from when they're kids. Some people start when they're adolescents. Me personally, I started when I was really young. So when did you discover your passion for Star Wars, and when did it kind of become a part of your life?
That's a good question. When I was 6 years old, maybe even sooner than that, I remember I went to the mall with my dad, and he said, "Today we're going to buy something special." And we went to the video store, and he picked out this black and gold box, and it was the VHS old Star Wars trilogy. And this was in 1996, because I'm 26 now. So that's when I was 6 years old. And I remember it perfectly. And we went home and we started watching the movies. And I immediately fell in love with this whole magical world of Star Wars. And it was purely that, and no other word for it. It was just magical. And it's been a part of my life ever since. From there, I would just try to read up on everything to do with Star Wars, the comics, and get the action figures and the collectibles and the toys and whatever I could do, because it was just that much fun for me. Once I hit, I think it was 14 or 15, I found this Star Wars forum online called FX Sabers, and I was super avid on that. I was on there every day for hours, after school, after high school, and I would just come home and go on that, and sometimes I wouldn't do my homework, but anyways. And I actually ended up meeting one of my best friends off that website. Funny enough. Yeah, we've been best friends for about 10 years now. And, 11 years, actually. And he lives about 8 hours away, and we visit each other over the years with the same age, same interests, and it's just, sometimes things like that just kind of happen. It's destiny, if you will. So Star Wars for me has been a huge, not only beautiful connection I have with my father, but also, it was the way I met my best friend, and kind of an escape, a fantasy land that I can go to whenever, whatever you're going through in life, whether it's tough times or, happy times or whatever it is, you get to share this movie with other people and even with yourself. And I think that's something very special that a lot of people in Star Wars share in common.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It goes outside of the movies in total. It's this connection you have with just the franchise and like the comics and the EU, not even just the movies. It's that special. So you mentioned how you and your father have this strong connection to the Star Wars. So
yeah.
Would your dad have watched the original trilogy when it was in theaters?
Yeah, he went and saw it in theaters.
And he was a fan just like you before you were even born.
Yeah. I think I was a bigger fan than he was, but at the time he said it was like nothing like that had been done before, and it just rocked the whole world pretty much. And when he saw it in theaters, he was just in love. So yeah, I think it has that effect with everyone.
Yeah, of course. So you mentioned how you're 26 years old. So you would have been very young when the prequels came out. So, but you wouldn't have been so young to not understand what Star Wars was. Like, even I saw Revenge of the Sith, and I'm 18 years old. So yeah. I remember seeing that. So you must have been completely aware of Star Wars. You must have been a huge fan even 10 years ago, which you would have been around 15 when Revenge of the Sith came out. So what did you think of the prequels, given the amount of hate that they received?
They get a lot of hate, and people are going to say everything, right? They're going to either, some people are going to like it, some people, it's just like you. Some people will like your channel, some people won't, and that's just life. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it. But I was at the movies. I saw all of them in the movies in the theaters, and it honestly goes beyond just the movies itself. As if I'm sitting there, I'm not trying to judge the movie from a director's standpoint.
Yeah.
It's more so the feeling that it brings. You get excited to go to the movie with your friends or your family, and it just creates this whole different feeling when you go to the movie. And I enjoyed the movies. I liked them. Looking back now, I haven't really watched the prequels trilogy much because it's just a little slower, and I want something. I know the story, like the back of my hand, so I want something a little more fast, I guess. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them. I liked episode 1. Jar Jar was annoying, but I guess everyone can agree with that.
Yeah.
And he was actually put in because George Lucas's, I think it was his daughter or son that wanted him in there or something like that, and he just put him in there, which it was a mistake. But anyways, no, I liked them. Episode 2 it shows the development of Anakin and Vader, and I think as a character development, if you put aside whatever people say about the acting or the storyline or whatever, if you look at it from a character's development, I think it does that very well.
Yeah, and also the action scenes are absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah,
despite the
they're
CGI.
cool.
All right, so now I want to ask a question about your YouTube channel, because obviously this is why you're here. It's what you do. Right. I'm guessing it might be your job. I don't know. I know YouTube's my job, so I'm guessing that.
No, it's not my job actually. It's just it's my hobby.
Wow,
so I enjoy it. Yeah,
it's amazing. I thought it would have been a career for you by now. So, what I want to ask is this question goes outside of the interview. I've always wanted to know this about your channel, because I remember when I saw a video from you. It must have been about 2 months ago, and you can probably remember this very vividly. Your channel completely blew up because you posted a video, and it was I believe it was Snoke tells Luke about Anakin's father or something like that. It was like a script leak. I remember that video getting hundreds of thousands of views every single day. Everywhere you went in Star Wars on social media, it was being shared, talked about, and from my perspective, that blew your channel up. And after that video, you would continue to post viral videos, and your channel just became what it is now. So, but I think I remember, I had more subscribers than you at this point. I had like 3,000, you had like 1,000, and then you just became this kind of star. Okay. So how did you know what to do? How did you seemingly start from nowhere and learn all the YouTube tricks, learn how to make thumbnails, tags? Sorry about that. And how did you think of all these ideas? How did you blow up on YouTube so soon?
Honestly, I don't know. It's as much as a surprise to you as it is to me. I really don't understand it. All I've done is basically make videos that I find interesting, and now the viewers come up with their own topics that they'd like me to dive into, and I do that. And whatever I don't know, I do my best to go to the bookstore and look at different books, or go online and check online and see if not just find anything online, but to see if it's actually reputable and if it makes sense. And then I'll put it in my videos. But I really didn't do anything special. Like, I haven't read any books on YouTube or anything like that. I have no background with SEO stuff. I know some people do that, and it helps them a lot, but I don't even know where to start with that. As for tags, I just put the tags for the video title.
Wow.
Yeah, there's nothing special. With that video, I found that on Reddit, and I just started. I'm like, okay, well, what can I do different? I voiced it out, and then I said, well, this just sounds lame. Like, I wouldn't listen to this. So I started making the voices myself, and then I would just change the pitch and add an echo, and it was it was cool, and people liked it. So I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. I could just maybe see if people would like fan fictions. So I started doing fan fictions, and some of those did pretty well. People liked them. So I started doing more of those, and then I started doing some, things about legends, things about canon, character bios, 10 interesting facts, just things like that, and basically my own theories, and that's what my channel is about, Star Wars theories. So all the different kind of ideas that I've had over this accumulation of 20 years that I've been in the Star Wars universe is kind of just all now coming out.
Yes.
And people see it as like, oh my God, like, where did this guy come from? It's like, no, man, there's like 20 years behind this that no one saw behind the scenes, that I would sit and read Star Wars, or write about Star Wars, or talk about Star Wars, or be on Star Wars forums, or whatever. You're like, sit in my room and watch Star Wars movies on my laptop and think, and go to bed every night watching Star Wars. It's a part of my life that I really enjoy the movies, and I enjoy everything to do with it, because it's just that magical. It's like a nice vacation. You got your life, and then it's just like, this is a hobby on the side, and it's fun. So I really have no definitive answer for you as to how it blew up. I still think it's not, like, it hasn't really kicked in. I'm just I don't know. I'm just taking it day by day, and
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
I guess because with how much you post, I would think that it would be your career. Like, you must have so much little time on your hands to do anything else.
Yeah, no, I really haven't had much time. With my job, it allows me to have more of a flexible schedule, and believe it or not, my job makes much more money than YouTube does, which is kind of a relief because it's like this. I'm not dependent on this to make a living or whatever. And that's how I look at it. Is that it's purely fun. It's purely enjoyment.
Yeah.
So when I have work, then those are the days when I don't really make videos, and then when I do, then obviously that's how it is. But yeah, no, that's where were we? That's pretty much it.
No, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's because people are questioning it because you kind of just, I don't know. You're at 70,000 plus now, aren't you? And it takes people years to get to even, I don't know, 10,000 or something like that. So, I mean, I'm guessing you had a lot of influence from Star Wars YouTubers that have been doing this for years as well. Because I definitely did.
Not really, man. I would watch other videos here and there, and I would just be like, okay, like there's a lot of stuff that they're missing, or this is how I would do this differently, and I just put my own spin on things and how I would do it. It's not like how I can be better or worse, because I mean we're all doing the same thing. We're all in the Star Wars universe, and it's cool. It's all like a collective. It's just a whole bunch of us, and some people might like this other guy's videos, and some people might like my videos, or might like both, and that's great. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be seen as like almost a competitive thing. It's just do your thing as much as you can. I
completely agree. I don't like how people kind of compare other YouTubers, and I think everyone's unique in their own way. That's why I like the Star Wars community, because you got different people for different things, like green screen and commentary, and you do a lot of fan fiction. I seem to focus on theories a lot, and I think everyone's different. So, The Force Awakens got quite a bit of backlash, given that it was so similar to A New Hope, and it was quite predictable. But overall, I thought it was an amazing film. So, what did you think of the movie, Force Awakens?
I liked the movie. I thought it was pretty good. It was hard to come from a transition of, Lucas's style from his movies, and going directly into someone else that's different, has a different take and different, twist on things. But I really like the cinematics were great, the special effects were great, the acting was great, and it was fast paced. I think for a new generation like our generation, it's you need to be a little quicker because people get bored. So it was good. I liked it.
Awesome. What do you want to see in episode 8? What's your top expectations for episode 8?
Well, if you've seen any of my fan fictions, I don't shy away from allowing the characters to show their full potential of power and their barbaricness, if that's a word. So I really would like to see some crazy stuff happen. I would like to see Kylo Ren just fully submerge himself into the dark side like we've never seen before. I'd like to see Luke absolutely showcase his power and not shy away and be afraid of using some of that dark side that's in him, and completely just blowing things up.
Yeah. Well, there was actually a leak quite a while ago that Luke blows up one of the huts on Octo.
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced, actually.
Yeah. I did a video on that a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And he blows one. What does he do? He what's the word? He puts it on fire. He explodes it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So that would be really cool. Force fire. That would be a really cool force power to see, because we've seen it in the comics in the EU. So why not?
Yeah. Awesome. I imagine they're going to try and put new powers in there. So, you're a guy who does a lot of theories, and I'm sure you've seen your fair share of theories on YouTube. I know you've seen some of my theories. So, are there any fan theories on YouTube that you actually think have any credibility and that actually will happen? Because there's so many, and some of them are ridiculous. I know some of mine are quite crazy. But do you actually think any of them could actually come true?
No, really, I don't. There are so many theories out there, and I think people get caught up in the views versus actually coming up with a sick theory that actually makes sense. And my most stupid theory I think that I did was, it wasn't even my theory. It was a theory that I got off Reddit, which I gave credit to, and that it was Snoke as Boba Fett.
Oh,
And
I
I
remember
watched
that one.
Yeah, I watched that afterwards, and I was just like, this is kind of stupid. But you know what? It got people thinking, and that's the whole point of it, is to get people thinking. So the one I like the most is, unbiasedly, of course, is my Darth Maul could be
Yes,
Snoke.
yes,
I
that was
think
really good.
there's some good facts about that, but I is it true? I highly doubt it. Now I do absolutely wish that Snoke is Plagueis. I think that would be really cool to
Yeah.
see, and it would tie in everything, and it would just make it pretty much perfect, in my opinion. But if he's another character, that's cool too. So
Awesome. Um, so what did you think about Kylo Ren? Because he is a really mixed bag. I mean, he's pretty much became a meme on the internet right now, like an emo teenager. I
Yeah.
personally thought he was amazing. I really liked the kind of different character compared to Ben Solo, and when he had the mask on, he became Kylo Ren. And I thought Adam Driver's acting was amazing, but some people thought the opposite. So what did you think of Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens?
I thought his acting was really good. First of all,
Yeah.
secondly, I really think he's a very interesting character, and the reason is because he's not transparent. He's not, he's not like Anakin, where like he's fighting this dark side kind of thing. He's like, he is, but at the same time, he has so much other stuff behind him as a character. So he wants to prove his loyalty to Snoke. He wants to prove his loyalty to his bloodline, to the Skywalkers, to Darth Vader, and he's also fighting this internal battle to not change back to the light side and continue to the dark side. So he's kind of stuck in this middle zone where he's the good guy, but he just doesn't want to be. So he does everything the opposite of what a good guy would do. And he's impatient and brash and violent and just overall kind of like a snotty little kid. He's like a brat almost. And I think that for a character has so much room to grow in any single direction that it makes him very interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I personally think that he's going to turn back to the light side. And
I was just going to ask you about that, because he's the first character we've ever seen that's getting pulled to the light as opposed to getting pulled away from the light. So you think he's going to get pulled to the light eventually?
Yeah, I think if we look at Star Wars in terms of the rhythm and the pattern that they have, basically you can see that, everyone gets their hand cut off in the second of the three.
Yes.
So episode 2, Anakin got his, and then Luke, and then so probably either Rey or Kylo, or someone's going to get their hand cut off in the next one. I feel like he has so much room to move. He can go either to the light or the dark, and I think that's going to be something really interesting to see.
I mean, one thing that people have said is that they purposely made him kill Han Solo to prove that he is unredeemable. Like, that was kind of like the metaphorical saying that he's not coming back. Why do you think they got him to kill Han Solo if it wasn't to make him unredeemable? Just to get Harrison Ford
personally,
off?
I think they killed Harrison Ford off because they want him to do an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really see part of that, to have any merit in the story. I thought it was a bit too rushed.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, like, all right then. But I mean, you can always come back. I mean, if Vader came back after killing younglings and everything that he did, then of course he can come back for sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. So we got the answer as to who you think Snoke is. You think Snoke is Snoke, but you want him to be Darth Plagueis, yeah?
Yeah, right.
So who do you think Rey is? Because apart from Snoke, Rey is the main theorized character. There's so many theories about who her heritage and who her family are. I personally think it's Luke Skywalker. So who do you? Because Rey could also be just, the chosen one. She doesn't have to have a family. But what is your personal belief as to who and what Rey is?
Well, looking at it, when the lightsaber was being battled between both of them to go to either Kylo or Rey, it went to Rey, which means that not necessarily meaning that she is stronger in the Force than Kylo, but it means that it has more of an affinity to be attracted to her and choose to go to her. So, really, I don't know. I thought she was a Palpatine. I also think she could be a Kenobi. but I also think she could be a Skywalker just because it went to her first, and that lightsaber is Anakin's, so it would only make sense that it would go to a Skywalker. So I think she may be Luke's daughter.
Yeah, because even though Ben Solo is a Skywalker, he's technically a Solo, isn't he, as well? But Rey would be just purely Luke's daughter, which means her connection would be stronger. I never thought of it like that. It's a really interesting thought. So what's the process of making videos for you? Because some people don't realize the amount of effort that go into certain videos, especially with your... Like, I've watched some of your fan fictions. You add things like sound effects. You obviously write scripts. So what's the process for you, like, from start to finish?
It's a very lengthy one, my friend. It's so one of my I think it was part 3 of What If Darth Maul Trained Anakin Skywalker. I was sitting at my computer late at night. I think it was like 6 or 7, and I was up until 9:30 in the morning the next day. And the sun was coming up, and the birds were chirping, and it was really weird. And then I went to bed, and I was just like, oh my god, because I actually finished at around 5, but then there was a problem uploading, and I'm very stubborn. Like, I like to make sure that my work is done when it's done and not just leave it for another time. Because I don't know, what if my computer explodes or something? Like, all that work's gone. It's like, and it's like, this is like my baby. This is my child. I worked on this really hard, and I put everything I have into it. The writing to the visuals to the sound, and you create this almost movie, if you will, and you just want to see it put out there to the best of your own ability. So basically, at 5 a.m., it just wasn't exporting at the right frame rate. It was like at 480p or something, and I'm like, why is it doing this? So it took me 3-4 hours to figure it out. So finally I did, and and then I uploaded it. But they take forever, man. Like, you would not imagine. Well, you might imagine, actually, but other people wouldn't imagine. It will take, like, for a little 5-minute video, that will take 5 or 6 hours. Like, the thumbnail alone takes me... I've spent around 5 hours on a thumbnail alone.
What?
Yeah.
What's an example of a thumbnail?
What's that?
What's an example of a thumbnail you spent 5 hours on?
So, like, some of the fan fiction ones, just to, like, and the most stupid things ever, like making sure that the lightsaber blade comes out of the lightsaber, perfectly, and I, like, zoom into it just so it's like all these, like, giant pixels on my screen, and I go in one by one, and I just make sure I fix all of them and doctor all of them up, just so that it looks, representable. Because, I'm putting my name on this. I want it to be representative of my channel. So it takes a long time, but you know what? I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't fun.
Oh,
and,
of course.
Sure, it pays, YouTube pays you and all that. It doesn't pay as well as some would think, but I think the problem is a lot of people get way too caught up in the fact that, I want views, I want to make money off this, and they lose sight of the bigger picture here, and this is supposed to be fun. Like, this is not supposed to be, your job. This is not supposed to be like your main source of income where you can just do this and that's it, because that changes your whole perception. That makes you this basically a view whore, if you will. So you're basically putting out content that will just get you views, and that way you won't really build a base. You won't really build a viewer fan base, if you will. I don't like calling them fans, but it just turns people off. And I know from experience watching other videos like that, I'm just like, there's nothing. Like, I see some of the big channels and they do videos like that. I'm like, this is just a clickbait video. And in the beginning, I think you got to do some clickbait videos just so you get noticed. But then, you got to change it up. You got to be like, hey, like, let's get serious. I either know Star Wars or I don't. And because anyone can just spout off videos that are clickbaity. But if you know Star Wars, there is so much that you can do with it, and so much that you can dive into that other people haven't thought of. So it really comes down to if you're an actual fan or you're not.
Wow. That was quite a speech, man. That was really good. So what are your favorite types of videos to make? Because obviously you're a really creative person, given that you write all your stuff, and you cannot do fan fiction or what if without being a creative person, I don't think.
Right.
But obviously with what ifs and fan fiction, there comes a lot of work. you have to think of the idea for a start, then write the idea, edit the idea. But obviously they're really fun because it's a really creative process. So what are your favorite videos to make?
Fan fictions, without a doubt.
Yeah, I thought so.
Without a doubt. My last video that I did that actually it did decent. The real reason Anakin Skywalker killed younglings. I really enjoyed making that video. I don't know why. Like it was just like a analysis video, but I really liked it because I like diving into the psychology of the different characters. I think it puts a very cool spin on everything.
Awesome.
And just kind of lets you know like what the heck's going on in their heads, you know?
Yeah. So you seem like you really observe characters' emotions and the given circumstances. Like you mentioned before, how you really like the character developments in the prequels. So what kind of characters in The Force Awakens did you really observe? Because there's so much to choose from. Like Finn as a character, I think he's got a lot of weight behind him. Obviously Rey and Kylo Ren. So what kind of character did you find the most interesting in terms of emotions and character developments in The Force Awakens?
Well, I think Kylo's was the most interesting. Everyone else was like, you know, pretty much you see them as they are. Like Rey's, she's good. She wants to be a Jedi. She's going to be a Jedi. Yeah. She has got Force powers. Finn, he's got some Force abilities, sort of, but not really. And he's, you know, heroic and all that. And then Poe is cool. He's, you know, your hero, but he's basically your hero in the skies. And you know, then there's Snoke, and he's just like the pure evil guy. Then there's Luke, and it's just like, you know, we know Luke. But Kylo is someone that we don't know. And that is just someone that is, he's not light, he's not dark, he's both at the same time. And we haven't really explored that. And some people may say, oh, we've seen that in Anakin. But Anakin was always, I don't think he was light or dark as well. I think he was just extremely selfish and into himself. He just wanted to be the most powerful, and he was just impatient. He was always trying to be the best, always trying to be noted as a Jedi Master, and he was just worried about the image of being perceived as someone who is this high, excellent, powerful being versus just being, you know?
Which is probably the reason he died, because he thought he could do that backflip around Obi-Wan and got the better of him.
Yeah, he got cocky. Yeah.
So, final question we have for you today, man, is what is next for your channel? Because obviously you have so much potential, especially with your growth. Is it going to become a full-time career? Is it going to be, you know, at least a guaranteed video every single day, or 2 videos a day? What is next for your channel?
Guaranteed video every single day, unless I do a fan fiction, because after those I'm kind of just spent, and I need like a day where I just kind of lay on the couch and don't do much, because those actually take a lot, you know, from writing it. It'll take, you know, maybe anywhere from an hour to 3-4 hours to write it and make sure it's all, you know, good. And then recording it, and then editing the recordings and just making sure it's all perfect. That'll take a long time. Some of my most basic fan fictions would take me like 12 hours. And it basically just, it takes a lot out of you. So I try to do 1 video a day as much as I can. The days where I'm like, I'm working or I'm tired or whatever it is, I'll just do a video that doesn't take as much energy. And of course I'll put as much of my time and efforts as I can into it. Obviously I won't, you know, half-ass it, but yeah, I mean, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. So fan fictions and basically whatever the viewers want at this point. As for a full-time job, I don't know. We'll see. Like, I don't really want it to get to the point where I'm like, this is, because it just kind of changes it just changes everything, I think. You know, when you attach money to things and you attach all that to the fun of this, I think it just changes things and it turns you into somewhat of a different person. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and we'll see how it goes. But, you know, even if I have 1 subscriber or, you know, 1 million, I'm not going to stop because it's fun and it's good. I obviously have milestones and I'd like to hit 100,000 before the new year. I think that would be pretty cool to do. But just keep going on the same route, keep trucking, you know.
Yeah, man, awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I really, really enjoyed this. I really thank you for coming on. I'm sure all your viewers and your fans, I don't like you don't like the word fans, do you? But all your viewers, I'm sure they're going to really enjoy this. It's a really insightful interview. I don't think you've done this before. Have you with anyone else?
No, I haven't collabed with anybody. So
Awesome. Well, this is your first
just
time.
gonna stick to myself.
Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, obviously you can go and subscribe to Star Wars Theory on my channel. He's on the module on the right side of the screen. You probably already have it already. They've got 70,000 subscribers.
Thanks,
my God. So, yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
Thanks
Please
for
go and
having me.
subscribe to him. He's a really talented guy. And, yeah, guys, drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to me for more. And thanks, Star Wars Theory. See you guys soon.